Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I am of course back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario 64 DS for the Nintendo DS. So, last time we have managed to actually just to conclude Lethal Lava Land, and also we did manage to gather several of those power stars in terms of Shifting Sandland and also Dire Darks, well, only one mission specifically, and also we did manage to beat Bowser for the second time. And yeah, everything else goes all fine and dandy and everything. And today for this episode is the fact that we're about to be moving on to the next floor in terms of Princess Peach's castle, but now we're going to be switching to Luigi because there was that one particular character we do need to unlock right now, and that's what appears to be Wario. And how do you find him? Well, we need to go on to the, obviously the second floor of the Princess Peach's castle, and unfortunately though, as you can tell, that we can no longer able to clip for the, you know, the staircase anymore. So because of that though, we need to able to do it normally. So I'm guessing that's been fixed ever since in the original. So anyway, let's go into this door. And also just managed to able to double check around here. Mainly, we need to talk to this toad over here. And because of that though, you would be able to get yourselves another power star. So yeah, pretty simple, self-explanatory star to get. So even then though, that's not much else to say. So and also, if you're probably wondering why I'm ignoring those rabbits for the time being. Well, the only reason being for this is because, well, I'll save that up until whenever we get into the later progressioning for this Let's Play. So, because of that, though, there's not much else I honestly trying to say. Although, to be fair, though, once we get into the ending portion of the game, I would classify for able to actually just try to obtain it or something. I have no idea. But anyways, let's go through this little, mirror of any sorts with Invincibility Luigi, and from here if you go to this door which actually leads us to this white abyss somehow, or in this case a white limbo, and that way that'll give us another power star. But that doesn't end off here because we found him. We found Wario right into this picture frame. And here we can able to traverse through the icy themed world. I mean, usually, relatively speaking, that in the Mario picture frame, obviously it does manage to take place in some sort of like a poisonous swamp, whilst in the forms of Luigi's picture frame, obviously it takes place in a spooky themed environment, and now we have the Wario picture frame which takes us in the icy themed world. So yeah, that makes it pretty obvious for a certain amount of variety in environments and all that stuff though. So either way though, yeah, let's just get this thing to it. So because of that though, of course we need to take on the forms of the red coin challenge first, before we get into the forms of, well, you know what I mean, the actual, the next boss fight, in this case the new boss fight, as far as this game introduces us into. So either way though, let's just wait until these little platforms will start to able to go combined together, and of course this is ice themed level, this meaning that yes, there's gonna be some ice physics set for time to time. So yeah, anyway, let's just go ahead and whoa, Jesus Christ, I did not notice that was happening. That's a bit of annoying, especially noticeable that it's bad enough ice physics managed to screw me up for a little bit. But even then though, the good news about this is though is the fact that usually relatively speaking, the actual journey towards the actual picture frame wasn't all that long though. Especially noticeable, it only requires Luigi in order able to actually entering this particular stage. So no Mario or no Yoshi for that matter can able to enter entering the stage. So yeah, something's worth noting for. So because of that though, a few things I want to explain about this before we get this this video started is that obviously today's day is of course the I want to say today it is the 15th of March today, in this case in 2021, and it looks like we are to the halfway point in terms of March. Well, a little bit halfway point there, well, usually relatively speaking, there's honestly not much else to try to talk about, although apart from the fact that until eventually at some point that the future game show is going to be hosting. So because of that though, really looking forward to see how there's going to be some tons of new announcements, including they will going to mention about the forms of stuffing related to Seiko and all that stuff, which I'm Really looking forward to that though, especially noticeable because I am pretty much dying to see what the next Sonic game is going to be, or the new Super Monkey Ball game for that matter, which I've heard for several rumors long time ago after the release of, well, let's just say an okay Banana Blitz HD re-release, despite the fact that it's pretty bare bones and all that stuff though. Although the only massive improvement is of course controls, and especially noticeable with the visuals department, so. But everything else about it though is just the fact that I found it okay. So, not the best of its kind, while I still would have wished if, you know, Super Monkey Ball 1 and Super Monkey Ball 2 would get its remastered treatment instead of something related to the actual, the modern era. So because of that though, yeah, it's not much else to tell. And then for some reason I keep on getting screwed over by certain jumps and all that stuff sometimes, because I just have no idea of how I screwed up some of these jumps like that. But anyway, let's go ahead and just go and grab that last 8 red coin, and eventually we'll be able to get that power star just around somewhere in that corner. So either way though, let's go ahead and transform back into Balloon Mario, so just in case we can able to obtain the power star like so. And also that eventually, hopefully, if I was trying my best to do it, if we don't get enough time, if we're able to actually just finish this game entirely in March, well, hopefully we would be able to do that at some point. Well, we don't know when exactly though, because we were planning to do, you know, Rayman Raving Rabbit's TV party at some point next month. So, but either way though, we'll have to wait and see what happens there until that some time comes, so. Anyways, now we're done with the red coin challenge out of the way. Now let's go ahead and take on the forms in the next boss fight, which I would normally try to use Luigi normally, but let's go for Mario, just because he was actually a balanced character. You there with a mustache, I am the King of Cold, Chief Chili. I lock up anyone who challenges the greatness of my mustache. I am a mustache master. In fact, I locked it up a rude fellow just the other day. The nerve of him coming to my realm looking like that. Your mustache is not altogether bad, not as grand as mine, of course. But what alliances in trying to show me up? I shall shove this fist right off your face. Here I come. Okay, so here we have another new boss fight that was actually technically exist in the forms of the original game, but it was actually more specifically some sort of like a newish kind of boss fight, which appears to be Chief Chili, which obviously all you have to do is basically you have to knock him off the actual the battle arena about, well, let's just say the usual 3 times, and well, if you're able to time your punches or time your kicks and everything with either Mario or Luigi. I'm pretty sure it's more specifically for Mario, most likely, because even then, though, I'm not exactly sure of how I explain this very well, just because it has been, you know, donkey's years since I actually did manage to play this game from time to time, since 2017 and stuff like that, for celebrating Super Mario Odyssey's release, but I digress. And every once in a while though, after one hit on Chief Chili, is that obviously we now need to rely on the forms of, well, you know what I mean, basically just the arena is gonna get a lot more slightly smaller, and eventually it gets a bit tricky and difficult if you try to time your punches and what have you. So yeah, definitely one of the, by far, is the most difficult fights in the game, and it's bad enough that I seriously keep on getting screwed over by, you know, screwed up timing jumps, and especially noticeable with these well-timed, you know, jumping kicks and stuff, which, believe me, it's not easy as it looks. But, hopefully, though, we're able to try to do this on the first attempt, though, and all that stuff. Because I remember back in the day, whenever I managed to play this game back in 2010, that I somehow got screwed over by this boss fight, like, so many times. Oh, and also that, another thing is worth noting for is the fact that, yeah, every once in a while though, much like in the forms of the Bowser fight in, Bowser in a Fire Sea fight, there was one occasion where he can able to tilt the platform, like, whenever he just managed to go back up a bit, so... Oh, jeez. Okay. So at least I'm still safe. Come on. I keep screwing up. Come on. It's not as easy, especially when these ice physics starts to come in, like so. Come on, just want to get this end. Okay. It's only one last kick, and he's done. Dang. There's someone with a greater mustache than mine. Ridiculous. Does this mean you're cooler than me, too? You might be gifted falsely or focally, but you better watch out once I get my mustache styled. Jeez Louise, that was a somewhat of a difficult boss fight, which I'm not gonna lie, that seems to be the case, and I somehow missed the Wario key, which I accidentally bypassed it completely, but hey, at least on the upside is though, we've at least obtained it, so there we go. But we're not exactly done with that particular course just yet though, because obviously we do need to unlock Wario. Well, despite the fact that we still need Luigi in order to able to actually go inside the actual frame itself. So we'll save that for later, because although originally we weren't going to be able to do a whole lot more missions on obviously the second floor in Princess Peach's castle, but we'll save that in another day just because, well, since that we've almost done with everything in terms of the first floor in Princess Peach's castle, well, a few minor exceptions, mind you, because even then, though, again, we'll point it out whenever we get into it, so... Anyway, so now we finally unlock Wario, the final playable character in Super Mario 64 DS. So, even then though, that's all needs left now is Princess Toadstool to be saved, or Princess Peach to be more specific. So, because of that though, and that will be on the finale portion of the game. So, either way though, we'll again save that up until for later, because either way though, we'll just go ahead and deal with that specific stuff. So, anyways, Mission 7, back onto Jolly Roger Bay through the jet stream. And unlike the original game, where basically Mario can able to actually obtain the metal cap, well, in a DS remake, only Wario can able to go there this time around, because obviously he can able to have the ability to able to transform into its metal form of himself. So at least that's something is usually been the case. So yeah, let's just go ahead and jump up, and if I was gonna try to jump up, there we go, and still, the actual jump height wasn't exactly all that high, and especially noticeable with his speed and everything, but again, he's a powerhouse, so what you expected with most power-type kind of heavy characters and stuff like that, so, and basically, once you obtain the metal power-up with Wario, then simply just drop right into the forms of the jet stream itself, so... And there we go, we've basically 100% everything in terms of Jolly Roger Bay. So, oh yeah, one thing I should probably mention is that that picture right there, that is actually based off from the Japanese release of Super Mario 64. Specifically, the original release of the Japanese release of Super Mario 64. But as far as the American version, as far as we are able to get, and even the European version that we only get is just a sunken ship, so... Back to Cool Mountain, and except the fact that we are doing Mission 7, Switch Star of Cool Mountain. And, obviously we need to use Wario for the sake of this mission, because there is this little frozen, little pond that we can able to now finally break as Wario, because again, he's a powerhouse. And because of that though, normally with Mario and Luigi, you can't break it, because the actual ice is actually a bit thicker. So, yeah, that's where Wario comes in. And, once you break that, then now you can need to able to find the Switch Star, and eventually you're gonna have to rush things up a little bit, so just in case you don't want to be super slow or anything else like that. So because of that though, yeah, that might be something you usually need to keep an eye out for. So anyways, let's go ahead and do a massive long jump, and well, trying to dive straight into the actual, well, despite the fact that I just managed to able to lose my time here. But, regardless of everything else though, as soon as you keep on tapping the jump button, then you would be able to actually just to make your way to the Switch Star itself. So, and that pretty much wraps things up completely of Cool Mountain. And since we got 80 power stars, so this meaning we can now able to fight against with the final battle against with Bowser. But here's the thing though, only Mario can able to go there, rather than just Wario, Luigi, or Yoshi for that matter. Just because Mario, he's gonna be the chosen one, so to be expected with most end game kind of stuff like this. So anyways though, now let's head back onto Big Boo's hut for the final time, or technically speaking, well, let's just say we're gonna have to go there twice, by the way, because the first mission we are doing, as you can see, we are doing Switch Star in a basement first, and once we're done with that, then we can probably head back in there for the final time and trying to take on the forms of another secret mission that was actually influenced by the forms of the Castle's secret power stars. And well, that's pretty much how that goes basically. So either way though, we can expect this much. So anyway though, so let's go ahead and just head into the basement and break that little black block over there. So just in case, we can now able to actually access to the forms of well, the actual Switch Star itself. But before we get into that, we need to get ourselves the Mario cap with us. And because of that though, we can now able to actually just to get ourselves a pretty good speed. Because if we gonna do this with just Wario, then basically we're probably not gonna make it in time. So because of that though, yeah, we need to just do just that. So anyway, a few things I want to mention about these specific stuff before we continue is that, obviously if you couldn't tell already, that I no longer have several of DS games. Well, only 4 of them, luckily. And that's only because I think I'm going to be moving on to another franchise as well, along with the forms of the Apex game, which I recently do. And that was the fact that I'm going to be curious to try out Professor Layton series for the Nintendo DS and all that stuff, along with the 3DS stuff as well. But I'll talk more about it until any moments later, though. Okay, quick edit right there, because rather than going on to Mission 1, because I think I might as well hit on to Mission 2 instead. Because otherwise, that the stairs will no longer going to be able to active on the first mission, because only Mission 2 and onwards, that does manage to have staircases onto them, so yeah, that's something worth keeping in mind. So anyways, and it's pretty obvious that the reason why we're going, you know, back in there again, because obviously we now need to take care of the last thing we want to do in terms of the forms of well, Big Boo. Oh wow, that was a massive hit right there for that sake of that specific drop height. Oh well, what can you do? And there's nothing we can do about it, but other than the fact that we could, you know, trying to able to grab, you know, Luigi's cap and all that stuff though, so we can expect this much. So dang it, I keep on getting hit. But hopefully, once these two Boos collide to each other, then we're able to get not only the Luigi's cap on, but also just manage to get the blue coins to regenerate my health. So that really is going to help me out. So, or I should say, that really is going to help me out. So, yeah. Anyway though, so let's go ahead and fly straight into, well, not only for this bit, but we can backflip and hit into here. And jump right back into Luigi's picture frame for the final time. And able to take on, well, the red coin challenge mission. So, hopefully we'll able to actually deal with that stuff though. So either way though, we'll go ahead and find the rest of the remaining 8 red coins. But again, in order to able to make it happen though, you need to able to get every single character throughout the game. So, and yeah, that's what happens right there if you manage to pick the wrong door, or if you manage to fall into the bottomless pit below, like I just did that right there. Basically, it takes you straight back into the beginning portion of this particular obstacle course, as you can see. So, yeah, it's a little bit different than the forms of how it does it on the other 2 courses that we have to save both Mario and Wario during that specific levels, because I think maybe that Luigi's one might actually be one of the generous ones, because obviously you can able to actually just well, don't get kicked out of the actual the obstacle course picture frame, unlike the other 2 special courses and such. But, you know, you get the idea of how that goes. So, anyway. And let's go ahead and change it to the Mario form. So just in case, we do need to get the actual power flower to able to actually fly up to able to obtain that particular red coin, which I was gonna able to do is with Luigi, but because the camera seriously screwed me up most of my time, so because of that though, yeah, we'll try to go ahead and grab that anyway. So yeah, because of that though, there are quite a few DS games I no longer have on my collection, which there are Brain Training, the original game, and also more Brain Training and Side Training. The reason why is because, well, I just think that, well, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed those games back in the day, especially noticeable that the more I'm grown older, then this meaning I can able to actually understand the actual some stimulations like so. But here's the thing though, is the fact that I'm just getting a little bit tired of able to actually doing the exact same activities over and over again. Like, I just want something a bit more, well, complex or challenging, or in some cases, I would like to try the different series out on the DS format, which appears to be, well, the series I'm going to be talking about is the Professor Layton series. Well, 4 of them from the original DS hardware, and 2 of them, well, at least in terms of the main series I'm going to be focusing on, and that is, well, 2 of them from the 3DS and 4 from the original DS. So because of that though, I'm curious to able to actually just to try those games out. Even though, mind you, I did manage to try one back in the day, but I never actually get into it. But, well, usually relatively speaking, because I'm not exactly sure how puzzles worked. But it wasn't until whenever I managed to able to give up playing on training stuff on the DS, mainly with like, you know, brain training, more brain training, and also side training, because they look very identical between the two, or the 3 for that matter though. But I'm just gonna say that I no longer have those 3 games anymore, just because, well, despite the fact that they are pretty cheap online wise, but usually if I was trying to sell them, then it's not gonna worth me anything. It just gives me just like a penny, which I was like, really? But I digress. But there's also another game I no longer have on my DS front, and that will have to be Tetris DS. Although, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed that back in the day as well. But, honestly, I haven't really touched on it for the longest time. I think the last time I touched upon it was actually in 2009, whenever I managed to try something out and such, which I have no idea why. And also because, well, I usually don't mind Tetris as a game series, but usually I think the Game Boy one is the most iconic one out of the bunch though, at least to me anyway though. And plus I've still managed to get Tetris Party for the WiiWare, but I haven't exactly played for donkey's years either. But although, usually to be fair though, is because usually I'm more into the forms of platformers and RPGs, and also some of these kart racing genre, party games, and all that stuff though, which I always been super keen on. But as far as puzzle games are concerned, well, usually I'm going to be able to participate in a new series I'm going to be able to be focusing on, along with Ape Escape. I'm actually going to be focusing on the Professor Layton games, which even then I'm very curious to try those out. But anyway, enough about that. Mission 6, the final mission in Shifting Sandland, is Pyramid Puzzle. And I believe that we need to go inside the pyramid itself once again, just like it forms within the 3rd mission. So, either way though, that's something is worth noting for. So, anyway though, so let's go in and obtain the Luigi cap on, so just in case if we would be able to actually just to make our way to the actual pyramid itself. So, and also another thing as well, that I also managed to able to, well, I did manage to sell my Tetris DS after all, because after all, I did manage to delete the actual, the data after all, whenever I managed to play it back in 2006 or something. Although I had a good time back in the day, but usually I'm not exactly a Tetris master. Well, usually I think the original game to me though is definitely one of the better games, because, well, in terms of nostalgia, and also, well, I do notice that Tetris 99 is pretty much going to be popular at this point, because obviously with you know, online and stuff like that, and also compete against with 98 other players, so that way it just makes it Tetris 99. So, yeah, that pretty much sums it up from there. So, anyway, jeez Louise, why is my physics just always get a bit screwy right there? But, hopefully we'll try to get back up a bit, and, I'm quite surprised that we'd never actually got that much power stars at this point for the sake of this episode. But don't worry, we will do at some point later on throughout the majority of the, well, the whole week and everything, or yeah, just throughout the whole week in general. But we'll have to wait and see, because obviously, after all, we've now managed to get, you know, Warrior after all. And also we need to collect the most insane amount of power stars as we can get for, you know, just trying to able to 100% everything, so you know, you get the idea. So, anyway. And also, I also sell some of those of my amiibo figures. Well, to be more specifically, the franchise I wasn't really terribly fond of. Well, to be more specifically, I'm no longer a fan of. Mainly with, like, I'm okay with Kid Icarus, because obviously I've got the original game on the NES. But I'm never exactly keen on the forms of Uprising just because of complex controls. Although it does have some great visuals though, don't get me wrong, as well as some great story, and even the actual breaking the fourth wall kind of humor and stuff like that, which I do like. But the actual controls is just throws me off a little bit, I must admit. And also same applies to the forms of well, let's just say the Fire Emblem series, I wasn't terribly fond of either. And also to top it off, I wasn't a big fan of the Animal Crossing series, because I haven't really played that much of it though. Although I heard of it, but it's actually pretty popular, but it's not my cup of tea. And also, I'm alright with Wii Fit and all that stuff though, but and also for the Pikmin fans out there, I'm still pretty much Pikmin out, because obviously I no longer going to be able to be supporting the Pikmin fandom or anything else like that, which it's bad enough that I no longer have those Let's Plays anymore, just because, well, the amount of views is not by much. So anyway, let's do one more mission for this video, and that is mission 2, Chests in the Current. But rather than doing with that though, because after all we're actually going to be playing as, oh actually, no way, I think we're also able to actually just to do 2 more missions, and then that'll be it for today's video. So, anyway though, so let's go ahead and just bust out these black blocks over there, and activate the switch star. But before we get into that, we need to grab the Cooper shell, or get the Cooper shell out from the actual block. And, well, we got to hurry things up, because otherwise, if you just being so slow, then the actual switch star will disappear for almost like instant. So, yeah, something's worth noting for. And that is by far the quickest mission throughout the game, and that mission is called Cooper Surfing Switch Star. And again, it requires Wario in order to be able to do this mission. So I know, a bit out of order in terms of the forms of some mission selections, but honestly guys, I just really want to be able to like complete certain stuff as soon as I can possibly can. Although don't worry though, we will be back for Dire Darks until the next video. So because of that though, yeah, we'll save that in the next video. So anyway, and also that I obviously am not a big fan of the Xenoblade Chronicles series either. So because of that though, usually I purchase amiibos if there are some franchises I predictably enjoy, like retro gaming stuff, as well as Pokemon, well, usually for the spin-offs anyway, not the main ones, to be more specifically in my opinion. Star Fox series, F-Zero series, and Metroid series, The Legend of Zelda series, and Sonic the Hedgehog, Mega Man, Pac-Man, Kirby series, and even especially noticeable with Banjo-Kazooie, and also Mario. So because of that though, these are the only franchises I predictably enjoy, along with, you know, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, and also Ape Escape recently. And even, eventually, Professor Layton series, which I'd be very curious to try those out. So, either way though, well, the only game exception I might not get is the Professor Layton versus, Phoenix, White, because, well, I haven't really looked upon it that much though with that game. So, yeah, I must admit though, I might be biased, so... And also, I've got myself 70 pounds cash total if I manage to sell those specific amiibo figures, which is a pretty good deal, because, well, aside from the fact that there's going to be some more games coming out for the sake of 2021, although we do already know that, you know, Crash Bandicoot 4 is now available on the Switch now, and we're still really hoping to wait for, you know, Mario Golf Super Rush on the Switch, alongside with The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. So, yeah, I'm still gonna be saving those up. So, anyway, as you saw right there, we did manage to use Wario to able to go through the wind by using Metal Form for that Power Star. So, anyway, I think, simply to say, we got the endings off here. So, join me next time for more of Let's Play of Super Mario 64 DS. Is that we'll go back to Dire Dire Ducks. So, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Later, fellas.